So we have a question from a viewer who or is wondering where we're at with respect to potential additional resources going into transportation issues. And I think, of course, this is a bonding year, so there's some aspects of the bonding bill that, of course, will deal with transportation. And of course, there's also a surplus, so transportation issues may be an issue there as well. Let's start with you, Representative Wazlawik. What's your view on the transportation issues that the viewers concerned about? What are we likely to see in this session dealing with transportation questions?
Sure. Well, I think one big thing is going to be we have a whole bunch of money coming to the state from the infrastructure bill that was passed at the federal level. And so that'll be a key piece of the conversation around infrastructure related to transportation. That's going to be a big piece of it. I know there has been conversation to the state level around, the long-term plans that we have for rapid bus transit, other sort of rapid transit lines that are going in around the metro area and expanding from the metro area. That's going to be a continued conversation, I think, for a lot of communities who have those lines now and who will be getting those lines in the future. Beyond that, I'm not on the transportation committee, so I can't speak to exactly what they're considering, but I know there is conversation around multimodal, wanting to have access for everyone, whether that's pedestrians, bikers, folks who take public transit, and those who are driving. So I think we're going to see a pretty big investment in terms of transportation infrastructure, roads and bridges, all that sort of stuff, as we get the money from the feds that passed in the infrastructure bill, and then whatever the state decides to do as well.
Senator Ruud, transportation issues.
Well, I think we're going to see some really robust spending, and if you drive around St. Paul, and the pothole swallows up your car. I think we need to do a better job on our roads, and so I think we're going to have, like Representative Wazlawik said, we're going to have a really robust. It'll be federal. It'll be bonding. I think you'll see some cash payments. I think today in the Senate we saw some bills to dedicate from the sales of auto parts. We did that in 2017 with tires, and so some of the things, some more dedicated funded for the roads and bridges. I think that's something we always pretty much unify on. In Greater Minnesota, folks love to come to Greater Minnesota, and we need to have good roads to bring them there. And then we also have trouble with our bridges in Greater Minnesota because our townships really don't have the ability to have the money to build those bridges. And so they really need some help in some of the rural areas with that infrastructure. So I think it's something we all agree on, that we want a robust transportation package.
Senator Putnam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with the conversation to this point. I think it's the most interesting dimension of transportation in the next couple months in the legislature is going to be who pays for what, because we have these different buckets of resources, and we have all of these different problems. I mean, I think when we talk about transportation, we have to acknowledge that we have underfunded and underinvested in transportation and in our transportation infrastructure for many, many years. So we really have a lot of catching up to do, but we need to do more than catch up. And this is a great opportunity to do that because we have the federal funds, we have the surplus, and we have bonding. We have opportunities not just to make up for lost time, and there's been a tremendous amount of it, but also opportunities to anticipate what comes next. We've got all kinds of changes in life patterns. It's going to take us a little while to figure out how we're going to commute, how we're going to get around in a post-COVID world. And I think it's important for us to think about those issues as we think about where and how we invest in transportation infrastructure moving forward.
Senator Ruud, your thoughts?
Oh, you already got me.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I'm sorry. Representative Agnew. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, kind of a lot of tones here that I think we all share. I think number one thing that comes to my mind when we talk transportation right away is focusing on our local governments, whether that be counties and townships and small cities. They're the ones that are in plight, frankly, that need to make sure and take care of a lot of roads. When we go to Greater Minnesota, I mean, some of these townships and counties take care of tens of thousands of miles, and they do it with just their local taxpayers. So if there's ways we can help there, I think that's vitally important. And whether that be bonding or our surplus, I will say, and for those watching, I'm holding my breath a little on those federal funds because right now they are approved by law, but they have not been appropriated, and that's because right now Congress is acting under a continuing resolution. So until I see that passed and the continuing resolution is completed and we can move on and I can see that funded properly and appropriated, then we can start thinking about it. But I think as right now, it might be a little too bullish to start thinking about those funds until we see that completed.